to join our foundation group as well and talk about it, or I can talk about it individually with you. So the key point here is, to let me wrap up, is that I absolutely suggest that you start now on the journey of even if you're at the stage of building out your platforms and services, you need to start baselining where you actually are, and you need to understand within your organization who actually cares about the problem, because this has to be a senior level thing within an organization, because otherwise it's very difficult to implement the change and make it stick across an organization. And you need to understand both inside and outside of IT, what are the reporting requirements? Do you have specific governance in place that you need to follow? Is there legislation you have to follow? Proper reporting outside of IT? Who are the stakeholders and who's actually interested? And then it's then about creating that first baseline. And in that first baseline, it's about understanding where have you got gaps in your data. So, and the gaps in the data could be anything from, your product life cycle. You don't actually understand how your service is built, and the vendors you have underpinning your services can't provide you with the right quality of data, but you understand the fact that you've got gaps and you have a plan in place to remediate those gaps as well in data quality, so that if someone asks you, how accurate your data is, you can give them a more accurate view of where your data gaps are, where your challenges are, and what you're doing to mature the quality of your data. And then it's about how you communicate this across your entire IT ecosystem as well, to make sure that everyone's speaking the same language in the same way, and you can build metrics and targets and KPIs which are contextual to the role, but all linked together towards a common goal. So that you can have development teams driving towards building sustainable code. You can have operations teams building sustainable platforms. You can have optimization teams focused on optimizing from the context of sustainability, all using a common metric and a common goal. And this absolutely is something that is going to evolve over time. Data will mature, the tools will mature, and the people using it will keep coming up with initiatives and ideas and objectives that they see where they can introduce efficiencies and they can optimize things from the perspective of sustainability. So this isn't just a technology problem, this is very much a people problem, and it's a great opportunity. So with that, does anyone have any questions? Because I'm happy to answer them, because I'm conscious I've talked at you very quickly.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, if anyone has a question for Mark, because I will have one, obviously, like even several ones, but if anyone in the chat or the physical meeting. I see Nicholas is sharing an article about the different data types. Different programming languages and their, I think, impacts. But yeah, I have a question for you. So you've been talking about life cycle assessments, for instance, for services or products. And do you know, like, because there is the ISO norm, of course, but where can we find basic protocols to apply?
So what I can share after this is I'll share some links with you to some specific areas where you can look at how the creation of life cycle assessments and what you need to include and exclude, and particularly around the data quality gaps. And the other big point there is about the challenges of getting the data from your supply chain and how deep you go as well. Because if I give an example of, there's a major chip manufacturer that I'm working with at the moment. Their challenge on their scope 3 is that they have 10,000 suppliers at the first level of their supply chain. And those 10,000 suppliers all have an average of between 5 and 20,000 suppliers themselves. So you think of how that flows down very, very quickly and very, very fast. And you're asking a team to even just to audit 10,000 suppliers is a huge challenge to generate your scope 3.
Yeah, I hear you.